unique. They know how to play with it. Like, it just delays your timing, but because of Boots of Trial, like, you can be refilling your bottle, whatever, you know, farming multiple lanes at the time, and then he comes back, and he's always on the top of net worth, and he's pretty much playing Shadowfin. So if it's working out for them, it's working out. Don't change it.
Yeah, sure. I think for 5 men, they've got another comfort pick for Ace. You've got that Spectre, first phasing it. It's going to be very good against the Grim and Mag in terms of like the team fight. But again, it's not always about team fight with Magnus. It's about how you're enabling your carry. So I think 5 men, they have to really focus on what are these big cores that are going to be paired well with this Magnus. As you see from the Lifestealer ban, that's a very classic hero that's been played before, I would maybe gravitate towards a Sven as well, potentially. Or even something along those lines. But yeah. Not too bad right now.
Possibly Slark if they don't have enough control on a 5-man. Still, I would love to see something that breaks the mag combo. I still feel... Winter Wyvern is not a hero that is strong in the lane, but if somehow you manage to survive through the laning stage without big losses, like, you get a lot from it.
Yeah, I think the only concern with that hero in philosophy is the fact that, like, that skirmish and constant fight, it can feel a little bit weak. So I think that's maybe why teams aren't really instantly gravitating towards that hero, just because it's very much like a 30-minute plus type big fight changer rather than like getting to that stage potentially.
So I'm going to ask you guys this question, because Spectre comes in this time for the second pick of 5 men, right? When I discussed it before and I'm saying it wasn't doing too well, it was 4th pick for the team. When Kyle broke it down why it made sense in this one. It's general, it's just not having good games. Like, it's not winning any of the games we've seen it picked in, bar the one earlier today.
Yeah, we can get the false impression of how, and the viewers, how strong a certain hero is, because, like, you see 4 games of Spectre, like, she's losing the games. Yeah, that hero's not that good. It's a lot of stuff that you need to, you know, do the math, like, who is she playing against? What was her item build? Like, we've seen that Hand of Midas into Radiance, couple of missed timings. Like, what do you want to do? Like, you need to see the big picture, what your team wants you to build, and what are you playing for?
It's about cushioning the Spectre, giving it a way to play the game.
Okay.
Like, if you're forcing the Spectre to not be able to take early fights and have to buy farming items, you're already missing a timing. If you have a draft that can move around the map together, start a team fight, and now suddenly your Spectre, who's hiding on the other side, haunting in with a drum Manta, of course it's going to go much better for you. And I think we've missed that in a lot of these Spectre drafts recently. It's like, they're not giving themselves like a 15-minute timing to use Haunt. They're playing for like a 25-minute timing, and by that time, lost Roshan, out of towers, you're already in a bad position. And this is where 5 men...
Very much.
You seem very pleased, Banks.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to understand why, like, people are going for it all the time. Some seem completely written off. I can make sense of the 100% and the 0%, right? Yeah, but the Doom and the Undying, perfect to get that.
We're also in like the closed qualifiers. You know, I'm sure we've mentioned this already today, but like, it's like we're in the wishy-washy part of like true reads on heroes, where just because, you know, Siberium Seed's picking up Spectre and losing with it, is Secret going to lose with it, you know? Like, no offense to Siberium Seed, but it's just a very...
Throw more shade, mate. Throw more shade.
I don't know. That was the first team that came to mind. I could have also mentioned Matachi,
go for one of the actual, like, completely down and out teams, not even in the Divine League. Choose one of them, mate. They're already there.
Wait, who actually came dead last? Matachi and...
Evil Corp?
Oh, Evil Corp.
Yeah,
Evil
Corp,
Corp.
I think they didn't win a single game.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, Evil Corp and Motachi, then it was Comrades, Extreme, Siberium Seed, Bait, Voldy Khan.
Love this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same thing that I mentioned, like, as Winter Wyvern, where he breaks the fight, you go in, you have a BKB piercing ability, you're just waiting in the backlines, but Warlock is a much stronger support in the laning stage, like just providing Spectre with unlimited heal, and also the Fatal Bonds. I've seen also Warlocks just getting Fatal Bonds level 1, pushing the wave, and getting so much out of it. Like, you're zoning out 2 heroes plus a Spectral Dagger, and then you have a creep equilibrium. You have like 2 waves, and then your support pulls the first wave, which is pretty nice. So yeah, these 2 heroes go back to
Classic,
Dota 1.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very classic opener.
But it is victim to being swarmed at the map and like not being able to truly defend towers that cleanly. You need to be at least having like one proactive move, maybe using like the 10-minute mark teleport wave to force people away from your side of the map, react, and then they have to recover during the time your cooldowns are down. If you're ever in a stage where you're defending towers, you like maybe missed a fight, you're suddenly losing like way too much map control. So this Batrider, it allows them to have one hero in the game that's going to be like super aggressive, forcing rotations, and it it also boils down to the idea of Batrider goes in, Spectre can then play into the Batrider. The Spectre isn't the one having to find everyone out in the fight.
Yeah, Rubik Warlock is not like the greatest support duo. You want to have heroes that can rotate, and they check that box with the Batrider. He's the hero that can make plays, and Batrider is good at every single stage of the game. Like that ulti goes through magic immunity, and whenever you get a blink dagger, there's always a play with it. Like enemy overextends, they're pushing your high ground, you pull them towards tier 4 towers, and like you can make a plays at the early stages of the game. Haunt plus Batrider, that's more than enough to take pretty much anyone on the map.
We're sounding very positive for 5-man again here, but
not yet.
Unique changes around.
Yeah, so Unique are in a really strong position where 5-men have to ban out like a DP or the Sven. Like these heroes that right now can be insanely enabled from a Surge and can just super overwhelm 5-men. They are really bad at taking fights when Unique can get to the backline. And right now, because you have this Darkseer, you have Magnus, Tiny, all these heroes naturally will have a Blink Dagger, a Surge, or some kind of connection spell.
I think you get rid of Slark. Like Slark with Iron Shell, Surge, this is the hero. And he can get rid of the Fatal Bond, sticking on palm charges. They really don't have the answer for Slark.
Yeah, that's true.
What else is there? Like, I don't know about like Phantom Lancer. I still don't think he's as strong as he was before for some reasons. Can't get my head on why. Like,
he definitely dropped off for this.
Yeah. In the previous patches, he looked like one of the strongest heroes, where he, you 10th pick Phantom Lancer, the game's over. Sometimes even 9th pick, they can't counter it with just one hero, and he pops off. In this patch, it just doesn't feel that.
Question, what is 5-men banning right now? Because you mentioned Slark, it's actually a really good Slark game. Then Team Unique are banning out an Underlord, because I think 5-men, they need their aura buyer, someone who can kind of ground their team and defend towers, because 5-men have no one who can park themselves in front of a tower. And Unique also have like 0 tower damage. So if you have that innate tower defender, because you have no tower damage, it's like a million times worse. Like you honestly could never take a building.
So they think it's a Batrider mid?
Yeah. That's what I think they're thinking right now. But 5-men were second pick, so they're going to be able to decide exactly what's happening with their draft at the very end, I think, right?
I would prefer if Batrider is their off lane and you have something that builds into Yule Scepter against the Darkseer. Like,
True, yeah.
Just purge off that Iron Shell and Surge, most importantly. They're very limited on the... Okay, they ban out Anti-Mage, so all of these elusive heroes are going to be strong. They go with Faceless Void.
Okay.
Not the greatest combo. But like, what's your damage inside a Chronosphere? You have none. Yeah, like you literally can't put any damage. Like,
it's all about the Magnus though. It's about the fact that as a Void, you can't really farm. You have Empower. You're going to get to that insane net worth so quickly. You don't need damage. You're doing it yourself.
True, but still, like I really dislike what they're doing. You have Grimstroke, who has great ulti, and you have nothing that you can throw inside of that. Like, you don't have a double roar, double any kind of a single target ability, and now you have a Faceless Void who doesn't have a hero to play with. Like, he might get empowered, but you can't throw any damage inside of Chronosphere, and if they just disable this Faceless Void, Chronosphere is going to be useless.
If you cast Iron Shell on an enemy hero that's Soulbind, does it double Iron Shell? That's more of an open question, because I'm not expecting anyone to know. Because it's kind of dumb.
Do you think someone goes
someone already wrote like yes, no, without
exactly, I'm actually at 9k actually on Twitch chat. I really know everything right now. They picked DK. Ooh, sure. I think for Unique, they're playing around the fact they want to have this Void who's just super jacked up and can kill, but their early plays are completely built around this Tiny being enabled by the Darkseer, being able to find pickoffs. They don't have enough pressure, I think, to stop the Spectre. And the early aggression from Batrider and tower damage from DK, I think, 5-men will be able to play a much stronger, mid game. But they do so often make these mistakes of playing the map too wide. And when they get picked off by this Void...
haven't we?
Yeah, so I think 5-men have the better draft. But I'm looking forward to them making some fundamental mistake to let Unique back in the game. And Unique is a very scary lineup once they kind of get to that 30-minute sweet spot, 25-minute sweet spot.
Have the combo with, Darkseer, Tiny, creating a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
In the front line, setting things up for RP, and then follow it up with the Chronosphere. But don't really like the lineup overall. That's a very hard Dota to execute, and with the Dragonite last pick, they have another low cooldown stun to control the Faceless Void. He can build into Heaven's Halberd. And the damage that Team Unique has, it's static. Like, the only burst you have is Tiny Toss. And Dragonite as a hero, I don't think he cares too much about it.
Yeah, they really need items on Unique. So
the cost, you're thinking more 5-men once again?
This is 80 to 20 in terms of draft. Like, I think Unique has a very low chance of winning this game.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be very happy when 5-men win this game, and I get to watch them in the grand final when they will dumpster Cyber Legacy.
Well, let's see if it is going to be 5-men getting this 2-0. Let's see if they can qualify and maybe give T-Gov a job when they get picked up by some sort of organization. Selling the dream right there.
Thank you. Really pushing my future career. Thank you, Banks.
There you go. See, looking after you, mate. Us British people, we've got to stick together in some way. The rest of our country's falling apart, but we're still here, surviving in Ukraine somehow.
We fled, if anything.
We have fled, yeah, we've completely fled. And I'm going to flee away from this desk because we got Zyori and Draxo. He's still in Super Saiyan Blue mode. He's going all crazy for this. Guys, you reckon this is going to be a 2-0?
I have to agree with the panel on this one. I think ease of execution again for the 5-men. What are you thinking here, Andy?
I don't want to hop on the bandwagon, but I really feel like I would just be wrong if I didn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if it wasn't a mid-mag, I would probably like it a bit more, because typically, okay, you pick mag to enable another core. It's been said on the panel a bunch of times now. We kind of, it's Empower. It's not really just all about the RP, which is fine. But when you're playing the 1 and the 2 position, and one of them is the mag, then you're not, like, you're taking a lot of farm for yourself, right? Like, you're not always just going to be following this guy around, throwing Empower on him. So I kind of agree that there's going to be some, like, damage and synergy issues, but, it's Dota. A lot of things can happen. We'll see if they can make some nice plays. Maybe 19 gets off to some crazy start like he did last game, and hopefully he doesn't buy Boots of Travel second item. But
maybe. You're definitely right, though, that this 19 Magnus will be much different from what we saw Misery do last game, where he really did feel like that classic kind of Empower bot. There were Empowers up on that troll nonstop past like 10 minutes, something like that. And I also agree with Lacoste. Like, this Faceless Void, you don't normally pick this hero just for the chrono, but that doesn't mean that having some synergy with the chrono is a bad thing, and I'm not really seeing it here. Ion Shell really helps. The buffs from the Grimstroke will also help, but a lot of pressure on Palantimos this game.
Yeah, I really like the Slark suggestion that Lacoste threw out. I thought that they basically had nothing to do with that hero at that point in the draft, right? Because they had already been showing like 4 heroes. Yeah. And the core is already picked, so obviously they're not going to be able to pick some like 3 position that's going to completely destroy a Slark, I don't think, Yeah. Worst case scenario, you can do some kind of lane swap and probably still get a pretty good start. But I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of depends on the team. Sometimes it's the captain's call. Sometimes it's the carry player's call, what they feel is best for the game. So if, Palantimos feel like Void was okay, then we'll see if he can make it work.
Well, he's certainly been popular recently. We've seen a lot more Void picks with mixed results, to be fair. Initial lane going okay up against Zibby and Misery. And now in the mid, whoa, big skewer back. But I think 19 in some big trouble. Can Batrider find a first blood? Chessie, not much time left on this Firefly, but it won't matter. He finds it. Solo kill for the Batrider.
I mean, that's a big kill for him, obviously. Going to get his game going. Can get to his very, very early bottle. 1 minute and 30-second bottle. Not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And the mag... So he's one of those heroes who doesn't necessarily need to win his lane, not trying to condone the death or anything like that, but he will just get farm. That's kind of the nature of the hero, especially in a core capacity. But we'll see how much Chessie is able to kind of like bully him in lane going forward.
It is also scary, though. Bat getting a good start means he's going to accelerate towards these items. Generally, we're seeing like Boots of Travel first item, and there's certainly correlation with the sooner you get those, the sooner you can start taking over the game.
Yeah, there's not too much really that deals with a really stacked Batrider either. Zippe top lane, maybe in some trouble. No bashes though.
Little low. It'll be okay. Yeah, no save or anything. Talking point that we had from last game, but another problem with the draft here.
I mean, neither team really has like a pure save, right? Like there's Golem on one side, which is like a big AoE stun that could be used as a save, but it's not a hard save. And then there's like Chrono and some stuns, but that's more, we would just refer to those as like counter initiation, right? Like not really a save.
Oh, mid lane, Chessie trying to do it again, but this time Unique have set a trap. Is that trap going to have enough damage, though? Illusion's here. One more auto attack, and Chessie's found it. He gets the kill first. That is so insanely good for the Bat relative to the Magnus who dies first. Illusion gets a little bonus, but...
He's almost level 5 at 3 minutes.
And Mag is only halfway through level 3. Up top, though, we're going to see some pressure onto Zibby. Now a kill comes out for Unique. Secured by Vanscore. Misery now on the run. Looks like he'll be fine. Okay, finally get that DK.
It's definitely nice, but you can see the Void's already falling behind in CS. This is a double damage debuff lane, so Fade Bolt and Breathe Fire. If both of those things are applied to the Void, his damage is just non-existent. If this was pre-nerf Rubik, he would just be crying. Like, it would just be tears the entire time.
I guess they're both percentage-based spells, huh? So that's
now
the one silver lining.
After the change.
Already not an amazing start for Unique. Chessie obviously winning mid. Spectre farming ahead of the Void right now.
God, look at this. He is just keeping him completely isolated from the lane. He's going to miss the EXP from this entire wave. He's not even letting him get the small camp. Yeah, like, this is bullying.
Straight up. Oh, okay, skewer into the tower, though. Chessie does not have a TP. And there's the toss. Gets up to the high ground. Avalanche! Oh, it's so close, Chessie! Hold back one more. They've got it, 19. Now, meanwhile, the Darkseer does get finished off down bottom. Almost lived, and now Illusion killed by Misery. So action all over the place here, making our observer work for it. The double damage on Rubik. Getting that counter kill a little easier now on the run. 19, trying to find another cleanup kill. Does have a little mana left. Misery giving him the taunt. And he will live. Okay.
You know, I was going to mention before, 8 kills just happened. The salve has been in Chessie's inventory for 2 deaths now. If that was just in his inventory over the mango, I'm pretty sure he just lives both times.
Especially that second one.
Yeah, the second one for sure. First one, okay, maybe he still dies. Like, swap in the salve, man. You could just live there.
Ditch the mango, buddy. Oh, bottom lane. They're going in on the Pylai die. Okay, living up to the namesake there. 4-4. But still looking at net worth. Pretty starry graph with 2 of the big cores, the 1 and the 2, on the Radiant. Top of the charts by a nice margin.
And 19's been forced to jungle next to his tier 2 tower. I mean, I've seen Mag lose lanes before in mid, but I've never quite seen it like this, where the Batrider is more than doubling the CS. Obviously Chessie's already level 6. It's a complete flop from what happened, in game 1, where Chessie solo died to 19 in the Spirit matchup. But yeah,
some of that is the MO of the Batrider. You have to live life on the edge, and when you get those trades, you're so ahead like this. But we've also seen games where they backfire, and then the opposite occurs.
Oh, he definitely wants to be playing this way, no doubt, because it's forcing the Tiny out of the bot lane and stuff, and BZZ's getting some EXP, but he's certainly not able to pressure Ace as much as he would like to, and having that second hero around would definitely help in that regard. So all things looking pretty good right now for 5 minutes.
And Chessie gets a scary rune on the Batrider. That is an Arcane. Does not have Lasso right now at level 6, but is still going to be able to find a tower kill at about 6.5 minutes. Meanwhile, up top, Talon Timos chasing down the Rubik, gets the bash, finds the kill. Nice help of the Grimstroke there. Losing that mid-tier 1, that hurts this early.
God, a 6-minute tier 1 tower is devastating. Especially to a lineup that really wants space,
Now Illusion. Okay, TP from 19 will keep him safe. Chessie had Lasso there. Maybe they find that kill.
He's opted for the extra point into, I think he put it into Firefly there. Yeah, I think he had 3 napalm from before. He was 3-1-1 at level 5, so not opting to get it just yet. BZZ really low on bot lane.
Is Surge going to be enough? Nice vacuum to buy him some space, but unfortunately for the Darkseer, that'll be another kill up for the Spectre. Now top lane, or mid rather, Chessie tossed back, and they do find a much needed kill on this Batrider.
Yeah, I mean, it just, the way that the kills happen though, sure, it's a nice kill, but think about how they had to move around the map to get that kill. They're defensively warding, they're at their own tier 2 tower, trying to kill this guy, while Ace and Misery are just sitting bottom, having the time of their lives. They've killed this Darkseer, 2 times now? And Ace is level 7, he's gonna have drums soon. This is not the kind of start that Unique are looking for. And typically you would look to this Void and be like, hey, you know, we need this Chrono so we can start getting some kills. But as Lacoste had mentioned on the panel, there's no damage that goes into this Chrono. And it's not early enough in the game yet to where Empower is really going to catapult you to that state where you're able to solo kill. You know, we need way more time than this.
Yeah, and that's some of the value of the spells, like just getting those first Chronos to do something, like Snapfire, for example. Having an ulti that combos to kill supports. Now Misery on the run. Looks like they'll find him here. Toss combo, double Ion Shell, and it'll be another kill up for Team Unique. My big concern, though, Draskell, is despite the kills and them making some moves, there hasn't really been an answer to Ace. 50 CS, 2 kills at 8.5 minutes, Spectre leading the net worth, and there's really no sign of this changing soon.
Well, they are surging in the Tiny here.
Okay, maybe this is the sign I was looking for.
Pressuring him in any way is nice, you know? He doesn't have any regen on him right now. I mean, under the tier 1, he does have 7. Why does Spectre have 7 health regen under a tier 1? Anyway. But yeah, they do want to start to at least put some pressure on some part of the map. It doesn't always have to be, you know, we have to kill the core, we have to kill the core. Just killing the off lane, killing the mid player, you know, pressuring a tier 1. Any of those moves can technically put some type of pressure on the team, and how they react to that pressure is, you know, what defines a good or a bad move. But
well, speaking of pressure, Darkseer going to be in some trouble. Misery, of course, saving the telekinesis for the surge, makes the counterplay, and Ace gets another kill. That's nice.
You could just go with an Ion Shell. You could go kill the large camp if you wanted to, but maybe he doesn't care.
Oh yeah, look at that. And Drums now coming out on Spectre. I have to say, Andy, I'm a little sad that the Meteor Hammer Spectre is dead. It was a very short-lived reign, but we are back to drum gaming.
As soon as they changed drums back to like a useful item, I was so happy.
I know. Drum is so good.
Drums. They're one of my favorite items to buy. They're like, on a core, it just feels so nice to have something in your inventory that gives you real value and fighting potential early on, because before that, they're really, okay, you buy a couple of Wraith Bands or Bracers and that's it. Doesn't have the same feeling, you know? Having a drum that you can activate, feel useful for your team. Misery going to break the smoke here.
Very nice. Van Score still in Viz, actually. He buffs up Illusion. Might still get off this stun. Inkswell helps find the kill, but now Haunt. They're going to try to make the counterplay. Can they turn this Misery death into something on the side of the 5 men? Ace pressing forward. They see Palantimos a little weary of the Chrono. Good spread, though. Not giving him an opportunity to catch the whole team. There's a big rotation from Unique. They do find the Bat Rider now. If they can get Chessie, that'll be a nice kill. It's pretty close, and Illusion will come in for the cleanup. It's 2 down now. Misery has respawned, but Unique get enough out of this rotation to make it worth it.
Yeah, getting a kill on the Bat is nice.
Zibby's going to get a free tower, though, up top.
Yeah, this offlane DK, I guess we haven't really talked about it a lot, but it is really difficult for Unique to deal with this hero specifically, because a lot of their damage is based through right clicks. Like, obviously they have tiny combo and stuff, so they have an okay mixture of damage, but this DK, he gets like a Blink Dagger and a BKB. He is he's like another Bat Rider, right? He just blinks in, he uses his Dragon Tail. Obviously can't pull people out of position, but he's that guy who can just go in for you, which is really, really nice to have, and it's super low risk.
Well, Illusion gonna walk into enemy territory and find 3 heroes on the high ground. That'll be a freebie, and actually a pretty good streak for Chessie.
Yeah, he was worth quite a bit, huh? 352, not bad.
Was 5-1 before that.
I was going to mention something about the Grimstroke Soulbind timing and, you know, being level 6 now and how that's kind of like a really important thing. And then I remember they have basically no single target spells. So there's not really like... I'm not sure. I mean, I do like his skill build, by the way. I think the Max Inkswell is definitely the way to go. When you have like double empowered cores and you really want to try to like stunlock someone to death, you either Ion Shell and Surge with the Inkswell on the Void or the Tiny. It is still a pretty scary thing to have to deal with, and it can kill basically anyone on the side of Radiant for now.
Might see a fight break out down bottom. Radiant starting to rotate some heroes. Illusion gets buffed up. Surge, Inkswell, it's a great initiation, but they actually cut it short. Soulbind comes down, but the rock from Pile Eye die. They bring down Grimstroke first. Now Illusion in pretty deep. The DK, it looks like he TP'd out from the top and now joins the party down bottom. So they make it a 2-0. Illusion also falls. Now we've got a 5-man squad from the 5 men, although not for long, as now Warlock heads up top.
Yeah, this is I think it's really smart actually for 5-men to be sitting in bottom as long as they have. Like a lot of the time you would just sack the tower, right? Because you expend too many resources to defend it or whatever. But the reality is like they aren't really able to siege that well. They have 2 melee heroes trying to siege against like a Bat Rider, a Warlock, and a DK, right? And the stack being stolen is not going to help.
Oh, Spectre stealing your stack at 13 minutes. That doesn't feel good. Van score 19, trying to move in. They want to contest this. They'll find a Warlock Golem soon to expire. And okay, Misery gonna hang around. Time Walk? He's still in some trouble. Time Dilation, pretty effective.
Should be okay, actually.
Another Time Walk here. He's good. Okay.
Even saving it to make sure. Okay, they surge the Tiny, but it wears off. God, they are thirsty for kills.
They really are. It's 9-9, but it doesn't really feel like it. A 3K net worth lead secured for 5-men right now. Now, Manta going to be the first item on Faceless Void. No farm accelerator, but still a nice, well-rounded starter.
Is it strange to you that basically an opening pick Spectre has a completely free lane?
It definitely does seem a bit odd. Ace has gotten away with so much this game. 4-0-1 at 14 minutes.
19?
Oh, RP. Okay, counter kill onto Chessie. Nope, Flaming Lasso's there.
Miss.
Pulling him onto the high ground, but still enough damage. Okay, ends up working out pretty well for Unique.
Yeah, I just find it really strange that you can open Spectre like that. Like Spectre Rubik. Not really like the most super strong like combination of heroes that you would imagine. Misery could be dead here, bot.
Yep. Although, and real team fight breaking out. Wall comes down, but we've got a dragon for him. Zibby, actually a little bit low as now the Chronosphere comes out. That'll make it 3 deaths now on the Radiant, including that Bat Rider. A nice string of kills for Unique. I feel like their playstyle right now is very risky. They're very grouped up. They're playing like we have to get kills. And if you don't find them, then this can backfire. But they've gotten enough that this invasion is feeling pretty good. A kill on Ace would be the real dream, but I think that's a tall order.
Yeah, he's very, very hard to take down. 1600 HP, max dispersion. It would take a lot in order to actually bring him down. I think it's good, though, to kind of be liberal with your Chronosphere, and I think that's why Palantimos has been playing the bottom side of the map so frequently. He needs to be playing around other heroes to have damage. Like Ion Shell, Inkswell, those types of spells are just mandatory in order to get any sort of kill, because that's all of their damage. Eventually, if they keep this kind of control going, they are going to get the surge forward here on the Illusion.
And now the counterplay.
I don't know if that was necessary, but
yeah, that was.
I mean, still, that's good though for Unique, because wasting Golem like that, it is one of their hard counter initiations.
Well, I mean, look at this though. Highlight uses the Golem to intimidate him for a D ward. Unfortunately, going to get caught by the toss from Tiny, and I think probably still dead here. Spectre comes in. He gets the counter kill onto Van Score, and now Illusion. So it is a 2-for-1.
What a bait!
That was the most classic Pylai Die play ever, right there.
I mean, the Golem looked super suspect at first. You're like, okay, I don't know about this. And then you didn't, at least I didn't realize Chessie, he's had bots for a while, but I didn't think about the implication of TPing to the Golem, right? It just kind of skipped my mind. And then I saw it and I was like, did they think about that or did it just happen? Because he looked like he just wanted to D-ward and it kind of just worked out in their favor.
Hey, it might have just worked out, but either way, showing some of the team communication here, the synergistic plays. Now, we've seen Beastmaster tinker, BOTs onto a Hawk. This is just a different flavor of the same recipe.
Yeah, for sure. It's just one of those things that you forget about, right? Because those heroes aren't really like meta. Like, when's the last time you've seen a tinker?
Yeah, forever. He's been pretty dead.
Yeah, thank God for that. But
yeah, he's down to the OD levels right now.
Yeah, I haven't really seen him much either now that you mention it. Yeah, that's a good point.
This has not been the patch of Outworld Devourer.
I liked him a lot more when his orb cleaved. It satiated my inner farmer. I need to hit creeps,
Yeah. Let's hook up from Unique, though. Let's see what they can find. Chronosphere just cooling down. No Soulbind for 15. But also an RP. Pylai Die, not the target that they want. He doesn't even have a Golem.
For 4 or 5 positions, seeing an Ink Swelled, Surged, Ion Shell Tiny is probably the stuff of nightmares. Like, you can't... Like, what do you do against that as a Warlock? It's like, you walk in the street and there's just a bus. And oh, by the way, the bus is also on fire and it's just driving at you like 120 miles an hour. You're like, oh, okay, that's it for me, I guess.
Well, he seems to think Yule Scepter is the answer. And honestly, it's a combo breaker, so...
Yeah, it could be, if he reacts fast enough. The tricky thing is, if you Yule someone, it dispels the Ink Swell, so you can actually still get stunned. But
oh, right, because when you just spell Ink Swell, it still falls off.
Right. But the stun duration is dependent on how long the debuff has been on you. So if he doesn't get close enough, it's like a 0.2 second stun or something. So it can definitely be a counter to that type of play.
Here's a big item though: the BKB on Batrider. Chessie bots straight into BKB. Man, Blink Dagger Bat really is pretty dead. You still see it come out sometimes, and he's going to go for a third item, but it's just funny how that item used to be like the item that made the hero, and now we see it in such a lower priority. Yeah, it makes sense, right?
There's so many times where you have a Blink Dagger and a Force Staff, and you pull that one hero out, and then, you're just gassed. That's all you bring to the fight ever is the one catch. And then when you have this drums bots or, BKB bots type of build, you can just be in the fight for an extended period of time. You're still crazy fast because you're Batrider. And you can just do whatever you want. And the freedom in the fight is what Batrider wants. It's not necessarily, all about the lasso, as we are going to see Vanscore get picked here. But it's an enabling item for a hero that really does want to be in the middle of things.
Yeah, definitely. And now the aggression from the 5 men. It's only a 3K net worth lead, but they've gotten Aegis on their Spectre. Ace still deathless this game, by the way. 6-0-1 at 20 minutes on Spectre.
Dire's courier has been killed.
They are, respectively, the cores of Unique are catching up in terms of net worth and stuff. And there is a DD bottled on this Void with the Chrono. So this could be an opening here.
All right, smoke up. Are they going to find the DK? Golem comes down, though. Zibby actually survives the burst. An RP will secure the kill, but now the counter plays to come out. Chessie in pretty deep with the BKB, and Ace also there. Chronosphere still available. An X marks the spot of walls, and now the Chronosphere. Void finds a good catch, and now this Spectre's in trouble. That's going to be Aegis. Combo will find Misery. Not the fight that the 5 men wanted, but can they kill Ace again? This is going to be the tough kill. They saved the lasso. They pulled the Magnus into no man's land. It looks like they'll have the damage to kill 19. It's a little bit close, but they get it. Still a pretty tight fight. The Dire have lost 2, and now they've got to deal with this raid boss Spectre. Palantimos makes it out to the south. BZZ and Illusion trying to get Chessie, but Ace still here to defend his Batrider. BZZ melts under the pressure of that Manta style, and now they'll get Illusion. It ends up being a pretty good fight for the 5 men, but made only possible by that Aegis.
Yeah, without it, you kind of think, Unique probably walk away from that fight with a pretty hefty win there. The fight dragged on maybe for a little bit too long with, the Batrider specifically being alive. If he lives through the whole engagement, man, it is so hard. Because you're just getting napalmed constantly, there's lots of dot damage flying around and things like that. And they committed everything to the first Spectre kill. You have to imagine maybe if they just chronoed the Batrider instead and killed him, that the fight might have gone differently. Because the Spectre had already committed Haunt. There was no rock or anything like that. Palantimos just saw his opportunity. He was very patient with his chrono. He didn't drop it right away. He waited for 2 heroes and then got the Aegis with the first chrono. But maybe all things considered, he needed to maybe prioritize a different target.
I do feel like that fight does harken back to the point that you made, though. Second pick Spectre not getting punished. She's had too good of a game. And in that fight, Ace was the saving factor, not just because of the Aegis, but also because he's high level, he has Manta, he's pretty farmed. That could have been a lot worse if Spectre wasn't so far ahead for the 5 men.
Yeah, absolutely. His lane was basically free. But it's not even just about his actual lane matchup. It was also because Chessie was putting so much pressure on mid that he was pulling the Tiny away from bottom constantly. Yeah, and it was basically just a 1v2. So Misery and Ace just got free reign, and BCZ's down there God, I wish I actually had a 4 position, but he couldn't be there because Chessie's just diving tier 2s at 7 minutes into the game.
Illusion had an impossible choice. It's, do I pressure the Spectre and sacrifice my mid, or do I try to help my mid because this is about as bad as this matchup could have gone? So, yeah, you're right. They got away with murder kind of in 2 lanes. And now a huge gap for the Spectre, very far ahead. Ace about 3k up on the Faceless Void, who is now looking for an MKB not that far away. Palantimos will get a big damage break.
Yeah,
oh, they catch Tiny.
To kill.
Illusion, bit too far forward. Very risky with that positioning. They'll catch him and also deploy a Haunt going for the back line. They get Van Score. That's 2 down now. Somewhat of a disaster for Unique as Ace Reality's even further forward. But Palantimos and BZZ both have an escape, and Surge will be more than enough.
This is the point in the game where the supports kind of become fodder. Like if you're a Grimstroke and all you have in your inventory are like Tranks and a Cloak, anytime that Spectre haunts, if he chooses to kill you, you are dead. Like there's not really too much you can do about it. The main reason he didn't die super early in the previous engagement when the Aegis was out is because Ace was intentionally trying to get chronoed. He's like, I have Aegis, please chrono me because I will come back to life. My teammates won't. But if he doesn't have to worry about making himself a target, he's going to kill the supports every time because it's just free. There's no like commitment that he has to make. Obviously,
especially
if there's a lasso.
Now with the Diffusal, it's even worse, and the Batcher just now gets delivered. So Ace is... Like, that last fight, all he had was a Manta. He's got 2 new items that are going to add a lot to his ability to kill. Oh, they're going to find Bat Rider. Right, that's a BKB. Invis Rune bottled, though. Choosing to pop it right away. Standing under a sentry, but still lasso on the Dark Seer.
Ooh, nice chrono.
Does connect on 2. Finds Ace, but stolen chrono. Beautifully done by the Rubik. Can they save this Spectre? Ace trying to survive. RP, but a rock comes down. Ace is finally dead. It's a good setup for Unique, and now looking for more kills. Pylai Die turns to drop the Yules, and that'll probably cost him. He's going to go down, and now Misery on the run. Wants to finish off BZZ, but not going to pay for it with his death. Okay, maybe he is. Caught by the combo from Illusion. That'll stop the TP. Misery's still on the run. Might be able to make the great escape here. Telekinesis.
He doesn't have a TP, so...
let's see here, Draskell. Let's see. Don't call it too early, buddy.
I mean, it's daytime, so he doesn't have a TP and it's daytime.
All right.
There you go.
All right. I wanted to believe.
In a pub game, he might have gotten away. But in a game like this, they're going to look at him and be like, yo, this guy doesn't have a TP. He's dead. Yeah. Like, there's just no living through that. But yeah, I mean, that fight, all things considered, like, definitely not too bad for Unique. The chrono was good. I didn't actually see if he used time dilation super early in the fight. I think he did, which is why he wasn't able to protect the chrono. But, you know, ironically, there wasn't really much follow-up on the chrono for Misery either because his team was also chronoed. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. It stopped the Bat Rider and also caught that Spectre, but down bottom, Haunt again, secures a kill onto Illusion. BZZ on the run, but I think they found him. Spectre Dagger, pretty handy. Now more TPs coming. It's the big bad Void. Chrono's still down for 60. Of course, that is going to be one of the ongoing issues for Unique this game. 160 seconds on that Chronosphere. It is a massive cooldown.
You know, I think the longer the game goes, though, like all things considered, even though it's against the Spectre lineup, I do kind of think that Unique will kind of swing back into like a powerful position in the game. Just because, like, say, for instance, Palantimos gets the Satanic. You know, are they ever really going to have enough damage to kill this guy? Like, if he's able to chrono and pop Satanic in an engagement, I don't really think he can die. So what's going to end up happening, I think the later the game goes, is it's going to be down to who has the better ability to kill, like, the 4 and the 5 position, right? Because Spectre kind of excels at that. And she can jump on the back, you know, kill your Grimstroke pretty easily, you know, kill the Tiny pretty easily, and then you take the fight just, you know, core v core. So I'm not sure, like, going forward, I don't think it makes them weaker as a team on Unique, but I do think it at least gives them an opportunity, because if the Void's that strong and he can just sit there and hit, I feel a lot more confident of their chances of maybe being able to win the game.
Teamfight is definitely looking a little bit scarier. That 5k net worth lead not growing. I die getting dove. Timos actually in pretty far. Needs to be a little bit careful here. They do have a lot of stuns. Has the Manta, though, and now the backup from the team. Sort of a weird angle to engage here, and yeah, Unique just back up and finish off that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, these cores on Unique are just getting, you know, we talk a lot about Spectre's beef, but Palanthemos and 19 are not squishy at all.
That's the haunt. Lasso onto the Magnus, but a vac wall to try to counterplay it. Big fatal bond, and now the golem comes down. Chronosphere not going to help that much. Vanscore and Illusion both dead. 19 still stuck in place as BKB now expires, and he will get left behind. That's 4 dead now. Void the only survivor, and DP not going to happen. Zibby will catch him with the Dragon Tail, and that's going to be your clean sweep. 5-0. Roshan not up for a minute 50. Bit unlucky for the 5 men.
Goodness, that was a rough one to watch. They basically, did everyone get hit by rock there? I want to say, yeah, just look at the Warlock's damage breakdown. And you can get an idea of what happened in that engagement. He did more damage than the Spectre.
He did 3,600 out of their 12K. That's nuts.
They got way too many people hit by fatal bonds. Like there's no dispelling item on the side of Unique really. I mean there are self dispels like BKB and Greaves, but
yeah.
You know they need other ways to remove like the fatal bonds or mitigate some of the damage if you walk in like that. That was just a little bit too aggressive, I would say. And the Chrono obviously basically just hit rock and a bunch of wall illusions. I think Palanthemos just kind of panicked there and just threw out his Chrono because he thought the fight was going to end really quickly, which he wasn't wrong. It did end fast. But that's basically because, 5 men got their perfect combo of abilities off.
Yeah, I think it shows that 5 men have to find the right target to initiate on. And catching the Magnus, preventing him from coming in and making any kind of counterplay with the RP, I think that was the key to the success there. Instead of Lasso getting countered, they used Lasso to take out one of the big players.
Yeah, it made the team of Unique collapse, right? So like when you pull a hero away like that, your instinct as a team is to help and like chase that guy, but when you group that close together against the Warlock, well, we just saw the result.
And here we go, Unique gonna jump in again. I don't know if DK is the target that they want. He's got that 9-second BKB, but huge burst damage and plenty of stuns. Zibby will fall outside of the Roche pit. 15 seconds before the big guy comes back. Misery jumps in though. This is a bold play from the Rubik. There's the haunt. Buyback from DK. They want this fight. RP does connect only on the Rubik, it looks like. Not going to be the ideal ulti. Vanscore and BZZ dead. Now Flaming Lasso onto the Magnus. Chronosphere still on cooldown for 30. BKB from Zibby and also the buyback now from Rubik. It looks like they want to secure this Roshan, and I think Unique in territory to get wiped again. There was a double damage in that bottle of Ace before this fight. And once again, Zibby almost catches Palanthemos with the Dragon Tail, actually in the same spot. But no detection. Instead, they'll chase down Vanscore up to the north. And he'll get knocked back, and this should be a dead Grimstroke.
Yeah, I think kind of just scrambling a bit on Unique right now. They walk into the tier 2 area. They get 2 quick kills, but Zibbe and Misery both had buyback. So they're back in the fight within, 10 seconds apiece. It's not really a big deal. They also committed the RP to just Misery. Like he got solo RP'd right there by 19. So just kind of like a weird usage of spells. They know that Golem was on cooldown, so they want to try to force an engagement right away. They just get crushed by the rock, and they're like, okay, let's try to fight without rock. But the position on the map, they take that fight, is a prime position for 5 men to be able to fight because they're next to their tier 2s.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a hero that's going to be able to TP back in after that happens.
Value
plus,
buybacks.
Yeah, and Ace also, he had a DD as well. So that was just like, that part is unfortunate, but the rest of it was maybe you just try to like bait a Roche or something like that instead of walking that far into enemy territory, because you're just guaranteeing that if they do have buyback, you're going to be outnumbered. Like that's just how it is.
We're also seeing this weird cadence of the big cooldowns. Warlock has a 10-second longer cooldown than Void, but the Spectre actually has an advantage. It's only 120 on the Haunt. So that was a scenario where we used Haunt and Chrono in the fight before. Haunt was back, but Chrono wasn't. And that was a huge disadvantage for Unique there.
Dire are scanning.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough look right now for Unique. They do have their Chrono back up, RP in 10.
Oh, Surge on the Tiny again, but Pylai Die stops it with the Yules. Instead, they find Ace. Reality across. They drop Chrono only onto Zibby. They might indeed find this kill onto the DK, but nope, there's the counterplay. It looks like a 4-hero golem again. Some decent fatal bonds. They get Vanscore on the back line. RP only onto Misery again. No steal, and they do find that dieback, but now the Flaming Lasso onto 19. There's no more Chrono, and I'm not sure if they have the damage to deal with Ace. He is chopping away at Palanthemos, and this Void is falling quickly. Too many stuns. He gets finished off. BZZ with the TP out. He'll make it. A 2 for 3, a bit of a messy fight, but they only get the supports of the 5 men.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the fights have to start differently. Like, I don't think you can start a fight by just chronoing. Like, unless you see a bunch of heroes standing together, like 2 or 3 man chrono, and it's just free. I really don't think you can start a fight that way. Because first off, you don't necessarily control what target you're going to be casting chrono on if you're walking like up a hill. They dropped a ward, so I'm not sure if they saw like the backline there. Maybe Plantimos thought that it would be a hero that was squishy enough to actually get the kill on before the chrono ends, but it's a DK. I mean, that hero is definitely not on the squishy side either. Looks like they are going to at least get top melee racks here for this exchange.
Unique not looking to mount a defense. Still 2 on the sideline. No real easy way to defend this. And, of course, still Aegis in the hands of Spectre, who is eyeing up an Eye of Scotty. So you still have some pretty big problems here in trying to deal with Ace.
I mean, he's died once,
Yeah. It's possible.
First phase Spectre with only 1 death, 17 kills.
I have to say, though, it does seem like this Yules on Pylai Diet was a genius item. We saw in that fight, like, he completely gimped the Tiny. He was charging in and just Yulesed him, and it stopped the Surge, Inkswell, Tiny combo initiation, like, dead in its tracks.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a really good itemization. Now he's got a Solar, he's got a Craggy Coat, 26 armor, 1700 health. This guy is also... relatively beefy. I don't even know if he dies to like that combo anymore. He might have enough health to live through it now with these items if he gets hit by it.
Speaking of dead, that's Illusion. He'll be caught down bottom, and they find Van Score in the mid. 2 very easy pickoffs for the 5 gentlemen.
Yeah, that's kind of what Spectre does. He's a support bully. Well, she is a support bully. You just haunt, and you can just pop over, defusal, kill a guy, pop over to another guy, pop your Manta, kill that guy. Like, that's just what happens. That's why Spectre is such an oppressive presence on the map when you're behind, is because normally, if the game is even, you have, like, these save items. Like, in Vanscore's case, he does have a Glimmer Cape, but prior to that, he had nothing. So every time Ace hits Haunt, and how many times is this guy going to get beaty? Jesus. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, and he also has Abyssal now, so you have no chance to live.
Yeah, it's a nightmare to deal with. One would ponder how a team that opens with this hero can get away with like having such a free game on it. I mean, it definitely is a draft issue to a degree.
Yeah.
Primarily, like, I think their last pick could have just been a lot better.
Whoa, they found a lasso. They're going to catch the Darkseer and pull him way into no man's land. Meanwhile, double damage Ace repels the rest of the team. Unique got completely split up there. Like, how do we run through this Spectre? I don't think we can. Sorry, BZZ.
Definitely not.
That was a pretty sick 4+1 right there.
I mean, they have their ultimates up on Unique, but I'm not really sure it matters.
Yeah, this one's looking pretty darn grim. Dota Plus, it's given up hope, down to 3%.
Yeah. But the one thing I think you can really take away from these 2 games, like, as a team, 5 men, their drafting makes their win condition a lot easier. And I think that's a really big thing that you can take away if you're like an up-and-coming team. You don't have to like pick these really difficult to execute, we got to make this smoke at this minute and like all this other stuff. Just pick like a simpler win condition. You have a mag, you can pick a different hero that just plays the map a lot faster and doesn't rely on cooldown when you already have like a big cooldown hero and a core role like mag. You can just pick something that plays fast. Like a Slark, as Lacoste said, you get like drums plus 1 item and you just run at them. Yep. And that's the kind of thing that I feel like Unique really lacked. You even have Ion Shell, you have Surge, you have Inkswell. There are so many things to enable a much more proactive carry in this game than a Void. Like Void doesn't, like he benefits from it, but he doesn't utilize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the same with the Grimstroke that Lacoste pointed out. It's like you don't have to have a combo with Soulbind like Doom or something to make this hero worth it, but it is nice to have like, one thing that goes into it. Even like an Ether Shock from a Rasta. Would be good. Like a magic missile from Avenge, anything. They're certainly lacking some synergy here. Since we have a moment, I'm curious, what do you think about Break versus Spectre? Like maybe not in the context of this game as much, because I don't know if that's the exact answer, but like, is Silver Edge to counter Dispersion ever worth it? Because it doesn't feel like we see many pro teams go for that.
I think usually the thing that counters Spectre is a playstyle, or just like a really oppressive lane that the Spectre is stuck in, right? Like you beat the Spectre by crushing her in lane and taking towers.
Whoop! They find Misery again, but there's a Haunt. Maybe trading Misery for a team fight here. Good RP onto 2. Palantimos holding the Chrono, but Jesse there with a great lasso. Now the Golem comes down. Palantimos still holding this Chrono, finally drops it on 2. hits the DK into Bat Rider, does set up that kill onto Chessie. Somehow the Dire have sustained through this, and now they're about to kill Ace. He's going in to finish off Vanscore, does grab it with Dispersion, but there's 3 on the sideline, and Zibby's about to fall as well. A lot of low health heroes on Unique limping back to the well, but they take a hell of a team fight.
That was the first time I think we've seen RP hit more than one person. I think that's kind of the big thing too, and the Rock was actually really well timed by Pi there, because okay, so he gets lassoed the Void and then he mantas, and the Rock hits him as soon as the manta ends, but there was no like little extra burst of damage to be able to take out Palanthamos in that point in time. So if he dies there, fight's completely different. Also, Ace, you've been playing a great game, but you didn't use your Minotaur Horn. I'm sorry, I have to say it. And he might have lived if he used it as well. So there, you know, there's a couple of mechanical mistakes by Radiant there. Like 5-men definitely could have probably taken that fight if they'd executed a bit better. But that's the difference between, you know, the AoE ults connecting and not connecting. Like how many times have we seen 19 just solo RP Misery this game, and the fight just goes, you know, in favor of 5-men? It's really hard for them to win an engagement at this point because they are so far behind in terms of net worth if their ultimates are not hitting like big.
Yeah, and even there, it was really close too, right? I thought that lasso was going to be enough to actually kill the Void before he could chrono. And Palatimos lived on probably double digits of HP before he got that chrono off.
Yeah, it was super, super close. Like if that chrono doesn't go off, the fight is for sure won by 5-men. Like yeah, no doubt.
So hanging on by a thread, but they've now brought themselves back to double digits of win percent chance, and they've held on to another lane of barracks. They're missing melee in the mid and the top. But still some options for Unique here. A Shadow Blade now up on Tiny for more initiation. There's also a Daedalus on the Magnus. So 19 is starting to turn into more of a carry. He hits pretty damn hard. Void still does not have that Satanic. Does pick up a Leveler, though. Actually, a pretty darn nice item on the Void.
Yeah, he's going to have to swap it around, though. He really likes Titan Sliver this game, too. Status resistance, magic resistance, that kind of stuff. It's really nice.
Yep.
But he does also need the damage. He needs... There's a lot of things that he has to get now because the game has not really, you know, gone well in terms of fights for a while. That fight they just took mid was the first engagement they'd actually won for a while, and now it looks like 5-men are just going to get Roche more or less for free. I really would like to see them contest this because they do have all their ults.
Oh man, it's a refresher too. That would be so big for Unique if they could somehow get this.
Yeah, they're way too slow. Didn't even look like they were trying to contest there.
Down it goes. Tiny is smoked up.
Also, I kind of have to question the Shadow Blade here from Illusion. I feel like in a game like this where you're playing with Void and it's so important that he gets a good chrono that you kind of want a Lotus for him, right?
Yeah.
There's Bat Rider, there's DK Stun, you know, you can dispel the Fatal Bonds even. Like, Lotus is really nice because it makes the Bat Rider and the DK think twice about initiating.
They do have one on the Darkseer. Do you think double Lotus is justified here?
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
okay.
There's so much spread damage in these engagements through things like Fatal Bonds and whatnot, and you can't always guarantee that the Darkseer is going to be close enough to you, whereas Tiny just has a Blink Dagger. I think double Lotus is fine.
Against
what
the
does
Fatal
the Shadow
Bonds,
Blade? What does the Shadow Blade really do, right? Like, if he's going to sit in a side lane, then I could totally see Shadow Blade being a viable option. Like, if he wants to go and be that hero that clears out creeps, but that's not really his job, right? The best thing he can hope to do with the Shadow Blade is find, like, Misery or find Pi and try to kill them. And right now, he doesn't really even do enough on his own to be able to like get that kill. So
Pi is a tough kill. Like, he's got Glimmer, Yules. That's... Yeah. I don't think you can insta-give the Warlock.
He's going for the Silver Edge, so it's like fine, I guess.
Oh, okay. So he's going to go for the break against Spectre. All right, it makes more sense now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the right call, but I at least get it.
It's a little ambitious because the item is super expensive, and he has a 4 position, and they're kind of been sitting in their base for a long time.
Although he's actually pretty close. He's got 2,300 gold. He's
but he can't buy it because then he won't have buyout. So.
True. Okay.
He can't spend that money as much as he would like to. So if the Spectre didn't have Aegis, he could buy it, because then the Aegis is basically ensuring that if you complete the Silver Edge and they kill him once, but the Tiny dies, and it doesn't matter because Ace is just going to respawn with full HP. But because they know that he has to have buyout.
Having the Refresher Shard on Spectre actually puts them in such a good position now. Ooh, Bat Rider jumps in, a little aggro, does survive. But even like worst case, if somehow Ace gets caught in the perfect chain and they kill him and he has to buy back, he can use Haunt twice with this Refresher Shard and probably end the game with a buyback Haunt. Like they have such a sick win condition now.
Yeah, this is a cool thing about playing Spectre when you're in this much control.
Hey, jump in onto Tiny, Flaming Lasso, grabs 2. Illusion low, Vanscourt goes down first, buyback there. There's the RP. It does connect on 2, but they're going to need some follow-up. Golem comes down. A stolen RP.
Yeah, it was a stolen RP.
Oh my, now this looks dark for Unique. Buyback came from the Tiny as well. Now Magnus going to have to burn his. Chronosphere on the back, finds Misery, finds Chessie, but I think it might be too little too late. Will these buybacks be enough? They've burned so many resources on Unique and they still can't get the Aegis. Ace is still alive. It's only a dead Rubik. Turning into a disaster for Unique. They need more counter kills. Zibby tossed back in, and he might be the sacrificial lamb. I don't think the 5 gentlemen will go back in on that. So Unique do hold. They saved the barracks, but that was a boatload of buybacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, look at that recap, but some big-time economic damage.
Yeah.
Actually, not as much as I thought. It's only a 2,500
The EXP
game.
is the big deal. Like, it's a 5,000 XP difference there. It's a lot of levels.
Spectre didn't lose Aegis either.
Dude, he's so tanky. I don't even... When it's at this point, and like you mentioned, the Spectre having the ability to just die twice and then also go back in if he wants to like buy back and hit Haunt. But I mean, they were feeling pretty confident there because he haunted right away. That's the confidence Haunt. When you think that the fight might go poorly, you can't use it right away because you need to have a way back into the fight just in case. But he just popped it right away. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to die. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, now he has MKB as well. So Spectre is itemizing for damage now.
Yeah, he knows with the Abyssal Blade, he doesn't need the utility of the Diffusal anymore to get kills on the supports, and MKB is just pure raw damage. So anytime he haunts, he'll still be able to kill. I mean, poor Vanscourt, dude. This is like, he either gets lassoed or he just dies to haunt. Those are basically like his 2 teamfight contributions. Feels super bad to be a Grimstroke in a game this late against Spectre and Bat.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Palantimos, he is thinking about a DR. He's picked up the Demon Edge already, so needs to farm the Relic, but thinking that this game is in dire straits, and he might be right. That might be one of few damage items that actually lets them kill this Spectre.
I guess we'll see. I mean, it is a type of situation where I think that kind of investment is necessary, right?
Yeah, especially
How
with
else are you
all
gonna
these
be
buybacks
scary?
down. Like, you are one lost fight away from losing this game. So this is... The next 5 minutes are Hail Mary territory. Aegis does get reclaimed, though.
I mean, this is still Ace with buyback too, so if he wants to put himself in harm's way, he can absolutely do that. And they know that 4 buybacks are on cooldown, so if he walks up and they force the fight for them to go on Ace, I don't know how they can win that engagement. They're going to try, though.
All right, they throw in Ace. Spectre taking a lot of damage here. There's the Haunt. Warlock Golem comes down. It's breaking Dota as they commence the fight. Grimstroke falls first, but Zibby also goes down in exchange. There's the Refresher Haunt from Spectre. That'll be the end of Illusion. But now the Chronosphere. Pylai died with the Yules outside, mitigates a lot of its effectiveness. Ace is low, but he's sustaining, and there's just too many heroes alive on the 5 gentlemen. Unique, forced to fight this 3v5, are likely to lose their Magnus. 3 stuck on the sideline. They just don't have the resources to kill Ace. The heals from the Warlock also helping to keep him sustained. Palantimos doing everything he can, but this Void just isn't big enough. Tier 3 tower now about to fall. Still a 4v2. The 5 men not backing up yet. Creeps push in that mid lane. And Mega's looking imminent here, Draskell.
Yeah, they couldn't even take him down the first time. It's just, you know, when you're playing a safe lane and you just have that game where you feel unkillable, it's the best type of game for your team to play around because you basically become like the guy who calls the shots. Like, yeah, we're just going high ground. Like right now, I'm super strong. They can't kill me. Even if they do, I can come back. It's whatever. They don't have any buybacks. Just throw my body into them and the game will just end. And that's kind of what happens. I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier, simplicity, right? They're going to lose Chessie here, but Mega creeps and unique space and whatnot.
Yep, buyback will be used by Chessie. It's looking like this is the end. Tier 4 is now under assault. Palantimos jumps in for one last hurrah. No Chronosphere. He'll get bashed up. He gets abyssaled. Time walk in. And good night, sweet timekeeper.
Yeah, that's Scotty healing reduction, dude. Satanic doesn't even do much anymore.
Yeah, Scotty, so ridiculous. And now the Indeed final hold. Palantimos jumps out. This is his buyback. The throne's exposed. Ace securing kills left and right. And that will be the end of Palantimos and the end of Unique. Throne explodes. A 2-0 victory, 45-32. Very convincing stuff out of the 5 gentlemen.